Hey, this is Dina. Welcome to the Den. So they're coming out with that fourth Jurassic Park movie only 14 years after the third one. That's never a bad sign. The best I'm hoping for really is good mindless entertainment. If it's stupid fun, I'll be satisfied. More on that at the end of this video. So let's talk about dinosaur movies. I had been watching them forever. Unfortunately, the movies were almost never about the dinosaurs, usually cavemen who have to deal with dinosaurs, and there was one called Planet of Dinosaurs, kind of like Planet of the Apes but without the twist at the end, so it is literally a Planet of Dinosaurs as far as anyone knows. Probably the best known one is 1 million years BC. Yeah, most people watched it for Raquel Welch in a fur bikini, but I was watching it for the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs don't tend to be the focus of these movies, but they always steal the show. It doesn't hurt that these movies usually aren't that good and most of the budget is spent on the special effects, so the dinosaurs looked really good and that's about all these movies had going for them. Unfortunately, you have to sit through a lot of what amounts to a foreign soap opera to get to them. Honestly, I just fast-forwarded through all that crap and just watched the scenes with the dinosaurs. Otherwise, these movies are really hard to get through. And then in 1993, easily the best dinosaur movie ever, not to mention one of my favorite movies of all time, came along. And unsurprisingly, it's another Spielberg film. Jurassic Park was based on a book by Michael Crichton, which I'm gonna admit right now I didn't really read. I did start to read it years ago, but I had a tough time getting through it and I just kind of gave up around the point where Tim and Lex showed up. I don't remember exactly what I didn't like about it. I seem to recall a lot of technobabble and a lot of talk about this is the kind of stuff we use DNA research for, and it seemed to go on and on about everything but dinosaurs. Now I may be remembering wrong, this was a long time ago and I'm sure it picked up at some point, but for whatever reason I just could not get into the book. So don't expect too much comparing and contrasting from me between the movie and the book.
A few more years development and we won't even have to dig anymore.
Where's the fun in that?
The first main character we're introduced to in this movie is paleontologist Dr. Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill, who I became a big fan of after this movie. I just love this guy. If you want to see him in a horror movie, check out In the Mouth of Madness sometime. It's awesome, and I'll probably be covering it in the future. But anyway, there are two things about Dr. Grant you need to know.
Look at the extraordinary. What'd you do?
He touched it.
He doesn't get along with anything mechanical.
Well, maybe dinosaurs have more in common with present-day birds than they do with reptiles.
That doesn't look very scary.
And he's not too fond of kids.
More like a 6-foot turkey.
Only one of these things is going to improve throughout the movie. Either way, I love how he lets this kid have it.
Try to imagine yourself in the Cretaceous period. You get your first look at this 6-foot turkey as you enter a clearing. And that's when the attack comes, not from the front, but from the side. From the other two raptors, you didn't even know were there. And he slashes at you with this 6-inch retractable claw, like a razor, on the middle toe, maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines. The point is, you are alive when they start to eat you.
Hard to tell if he's scared or impressed, maybe both.
Try to show a little respect.
Incidentally, I thought that was a pretty good way of letting us know what the characters will be in for when the shit hits the fan later, without it feeling too expository. Anyway, right after that, someone lands a helicopter right in the middle of their excavation, blowing dust back over the bones. Nice.
What the hell do you think you're doing in here? Hey, we were saving that!
For today, I guarantee it.
It turns out to be John Hammond, who is played by Sir Richard Attenborough. He's a quirky millionaire, and I'm going to count how many times he mentions having spared no expense on something.
I own an island off the coast of Costa Rica. I've leased it from the government, and I've spent the last 5 years setting up a kind of biological preserve. Really spectacular, spared no expense.
So what it comes down to is that he's trying to open a kind of wildlife preserve on an island. Some lawyers have a problem with it, and so he needs to have a couple of experts in the form of Dr. Grant and his girlfriend, Dr. Ellie Sadler, who is a paleobotanist, give their approval. I know we all know where this is going, but it's more fun to pretend that we don't.
You know, give it your endorsement, maybe even pen a wee testimonial. I could get back on schedule. Schedule.
I love how he says schedule the British way and then corrects himself. I actually saw this movie a few times before I picked up on that. It's got a million little things like that in it. He offers to take them to his park for the weekend, and they decline until he offers to fund their dig.
For a further 3 years,
Where's the plane? Meanwhile...
Hello, Newman.
Okay, I know that's an obvious joke, but Wayne Knight is almost literally just playing Newman again in this movie, so why the hell not? Anyway, what this scene amounts to is that one of Hammond's workers is about to smuggle dinosaur embryos to a competitor of InGen, the company who engineered them.
So you two, dig up dinosaurs?
Yes, it's Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm, like I needed to point that out. I think his character is about the only one who Hammond doesn't like. I love how he describes him.
You'll have to get used to Dr. Malcolm. He suffers from a deplorable excess of personality.
And technology's war against Dr. Grant continues. He could get hurt one of these days. For the rest of my life, I will have this music stuck in my head anytime I see a helicopter land. So Hammond puts them all in jeeps and basically lets the park speak for itself. I'm not gonna lie, this scene is so breathtaking, it just about brings me to tears. Check out the Parasaurolophus off to the right. It's my favorite hadrosaur, and I kind of had a fangirly reaction to seeing them there.
How'd you do this? I'll show you.
So they're whisked off to the visitor center.
So what are you thinking?
We're out of a job. Don't you mean extinct?
I'll explain later, but that was an inside joke.
Where do you get 100 million-year-old dinosaur blood?
That was the lawyer that shushed them. I don't think I'd ever picked up on that before.
Oh, Mr. DNA.
Through this hilariously dorky cartoon, they explain that they harvested dinosaur DNA from the bellies of fossilized ancient mosquitoes and used frog DNA to fill in any gaps. It was a popular theory at the time. It could technically maybe work, but it wouldn't be as straightforward as the movie makes it sound. Oh well, it's a movie. Again, I point you to Planet of Dinosaurs. It could have been a lot worse.
Hey, Henry.
Oh, good day, sir.
I always forget that B.D. Wong is in this movie. I've been watching too much Law & Order SVU because I keep expecting him to say something like, "Show me on the doll where the dinosaur touched you." We see a baby dinosaur hatch out of an egg. Dr. Malcolm asks how they keep the breeding under control, and Dr. Wu says all the dinosaurs are female. Okay, that's Technology 3, Dr. Grant 0.
Again, how do you know they're all female? Does somebody go out into the park and pull up the dinosaur skirts?
Maybe that's where I should have put the Law & Order SVU reference. I like how Dr. Grant is horrified at the prospect of them breeding raptors, but Dr. Wu is just all... Yeah, so?
What are they doing?
Oh. Feeding them.
They should all be destroyed.
We get to meet Robert Muldoon, the park's game warden, and we learn some interesting things about the raptors.
They're lethal at 8 months, and I do mean lethal.
Like they're as fast as cheetahs and intelligent as simians. Oh boy.
Yes. Who's hungry? Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
And we can charge anything we want, $2,000.
At dinner shortly after that, they all start talking about their reservations about the park. Basically, everyone except the lawyer is against it because he thinks they can make a lot of money off of it.
You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well,
I know it's fun to make fun of Jeff Goldblum's performance, but Dr. Malcolm brings up a brilliant point here regarding the ethics of genetic experimentation, which is really the heart of what this movie is all about.
Well, the question is, how can you know anything about an extinct ecosystem? And therefore, how could you ever assume that you can control it?
The world has just changed so radically, and we're all running to catch up.
I don't believe it. You're meant to come down here and defend me against these characters, and the only one I've got on my side is the blood-sucking lawyer.
Thank you.
Hammond's grandkids Tim and Lex show up, and Dr. Grant is just all, fuck my life. Seriously, keep an eye on him during these earlier scenes with the kids. It's hilarious.
Totally non-polluting, top of the line, spared no expense.
I read your book.
Tim, which car were you planning on?
Whichever one you are.
Not only is it a child, but it's a fanboy. Run, Dr. Grant, run far away!
And she said I should ride with you because it'd be good for you.
The boat is now floating. Everyone must be on the dock.
I hate you so much right now, Ellie. You know this is an old movie because it doesn't fuss over Samuel L. Jackson.
Hold on to your butts.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
So they take some automated jeeps into the main area of the park.
What do they got in there, King Kong?
The voice you're now hearing is Richard Kiley. We spared no expense.
If you didn't know, Richard Kiley used to be the narrator for those National Geographic specials. That's why Hammond is so excited.
One of the earliest carnivores, we now know Dilophosaurus is actually poisonous.
So the Dilophosaurus area is empty, which is disappointing. Also, their computer systems were built by...
I'm totally unappreciated in my time.
Yeah, they're screwed.
We're approaching the Tyrannosaur paddock.
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth.
Yeah, I don't think it works that way.
T-Rex doesn't want to be fat, he wants to hunt. Can't just suppress 65 million years of gut instinct.
There also appears to be no T-Rex. Even the goat is bored.
Now eventually you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? Hello? Hello? Yes?
I really hate that man.
So Dr. Grant and Dr. Sadler inadvertently demonstrate chaos theory.
Look at this. See? I'm right again. Nobody could have predicted that Dr. Grant would suddenly jump out of a moving vehicle.
Alan?
There's another example. See, here I am now by myself, talking to myself. That's chaos theory.
Hey.
You okay?
Hey, look at this.
I like how Lex doesn't let go of Dr. Grant's hand after he helps her up, and Ellie's all, haha, my plan is working. Not sure how she thinks forcing kids onto a guy who doesn't like them is going to make him change his mind, but it's cute anyway. Maybe she's just messing with his head.
Okay.
Aw, poor sick Triceratops.
Don't be scared. Come on, it's okay. Muldoon tranquilizer for me.
It looks good anyway, but considering that Stan Winston had to have it built earlier than expected, it looks really good.
God, she was always my favorite when I was a kid. Now I see her, she's the most beautiful thing I ever saw.
Dr. Grant is like a kid on Christmas. I'm honestly not sure if Lex is smiling at the Triceratops or him. Well, a big storm is coming, so they have to cut the tour short, which Hammond is not happy about. Ellie stays behind with the Triceratops while everyone else goes back to the jeeps. Meanwhile, Nedry, aka Newman, deactivates the park security system to allow him access to the embryo storage unit.
The day will come. Oh, yes. Mark my words, Seinfeld. Your day of reckoning is coming when an evil wind will blow through your little play world and wipe that smug smile off your face. And I'll be there in all my glory, watching as it all comes crumbling down.
It's kind of interesting seeing the names of a couple dinosaurs who don't appear in this movie. Stegosaurus, who would end up in the Lost World, and Metriacanthosaurus, who is apparently going to be in Jurassic World.
Hey, what'd I touch?
We didn't touch anything. We stopped.
He may not have touched anything, but technology wins again. Take that, Dr. Grant. Meanwhile, the power has gone out and the jeeps are stuck in front of the Tyrannosaur paddock, with no power going to the electrified fence. Nothing bad could happen there.
Maybe it's the power trying to come back on.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
Where's the goat?
I love that. It's like the T-Rex did it on purpose to fuck with them. Once again, major props to Stan Winston on the biggest animatronic sculpture ever made by his studio.
Oh, Jesus. There's an old cat saying which has particular relevance here. It goes something like this. We are all gonna die. Follow the rimmer-shaped blur.
And this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I saw this movie in the theater when it first came out, and this scene is just overwhelmingly tense. I love how the T-Rex treats the Jeep like it's her prey by flipping it over and attacking its underside, since that's where an animal would be vulnerable. I have a poster of this shot in storage. You might remember it from some of my earlier Film Den episodes. Dr. Grant to the rescue! Dr. Grant just took a level in badass.
Hey! Ian, freeze!
Dr. Malcolm, not so much. I think he misunderstood what Dr. Grant was doing and thought the T-Rex was attracted to the flare itself and not just the movement of it. He also led the T-Rex right to where the poor lawyer was hiding.
No.
Lawyers. Acceptable targets since forever.
Don't move. Can't see us if we don't move.
I don't think it's so much that T-Rex can't see you if you don't move, it's probably more that it only recognizes you as prey if you move. That tiny brain can only hold so much information. Things that move are tasty. Get eaten by a T-Rex or jump over the edge and probably die. Pick the ledge. That'll teach you to get away when I'm trying to eat you. Well, even though my favorite scene is over, there's still plenty of good stuff left. I can't imagine that too many people watching this haven't seen Jurassic Park by now, but if you've been living in a cave or something, go watch it before I get to part 2.